Buenos días.
Good morning and welcome. We all agree that technology is one of the development areas that changes the most, probably the most changing area. The speed at which new technologies and devices appear is growing steadily, and this is an ever-growing process. In terms of hard work, the direction of those transformations is predictable. Everything moves to smaller, faster, and cheaper, with the exception of the iPhone that comes in larger sizes. We, as software developers, thinking of our users, may describe this technological change more in terms of more and better quality data. I mean, not a screen full of data, but rather giving our users the information they need at the time they need it and in a right context. And also user experience that is more thorough and intuitive. I mean, not just having good interfaces, but also being present in all the devices used by the customers so that we are there whenever they need us. The technological breakthrough we live in accelerates because larger companies like Google, Facebook, and Twitter, in their search for new users, generate new standards. Our users also use these applications, and they quickly adapt to this and want our applications, the ones we develop, the same features and characteristics. And this, of course, leads us in this struggle for technology where everything moves faster and faster. In evolution, this phenomenon is known as Red Queen effect. It comes from a book by Lewis Carroll, which was the second part to Alice in Wonderland. That is called Alice Through the Looking Glass. In this story, Alice and the protagonist have to run faster and faster, but they realize that despite the fact that they run faster, they always stay in the same place, because the world they live in moves alongside. And this symbology is used also in our field. A clear example also is the relationship between predator and the prey. If we are the prey, we can say that the prey that has the ability to run faster than the rest of their kind have more chances of saving their skins, and so become mature, reproduce, and transfer that genetic characteristics to the next generation. Now, if you think about the predator, we could say that predators that also run faster will have more probabilities of catching prey that also move faster, and they can feed and survive, become adults, and transfer the genetic features to the next generations. Our companies immersed in this technology that's ever-changing must be ready to run, and to run faster and faster. I'm convinced that GeneXus is the best running sneakers available in the market, and we call them, championes in Spanish. So in order to run this race, you should not only have the best sneakers, but also be ready to run. This friend is called Drongo. He lives in the Kalahari Desert, a very arid desert. Kalahari is almost half of Uruguay in size. It's not only arid, but it's also located in the south of Africa. So in winter, the temperature goes below zero. But Drongo is also found with the suricata. They have a very special relationship. Drongo stands on the branch of a tree, and he can detect the alarm right before the suricata. In winter, when there's no food, this kind of meerkat can find worms in the sand, but Drongo cannot. He starves. So he has to despise the meerkat, despite the fact there is no danger. When he sees that a meerkat finds a worm, he says, "Oh, the eagle is coming." So the meerkat goes into a cave and he takes the breakfast away from the meerkat. So like in that old story of the lying shepherder, this is the way they go along. But Drongo is very smart. He can also imitate other 45 alert signals from 45 different species. So when his own signal fails, he uses the signals of other species. And he not only fools him about a risk that is not real, but he blames it on somebody else. So you may tell me, what has technology to do with Drongos? I will tell you what happened. This was in 1815. Napoleon was trying to invade the Netherlands, and he fought against the Duke of Wellington, who was in charge of the Allied forces. In that war scenario in Europe, we have this very special character, Nathan Mayer Rocham, who belonged to a very rich banker's family, and they were supporting both parties, Wellington and Napoleon. So this gentleman was able to witness the Waterloo battle, the final battle, from a privileged position. Well before the battle was over and anticipating the results, Roger sent a pigeon to London. It carried a message. It flew 362 kilometers separating France and England and brought a message to the other Rothschild in Mexico. It was an upside-down crown with a nail, saying that Napoleon had been defeated. But what do you think that the Rothschild in London did with that information? Instead of saying that Napoleon had been defeated, they said that Napoleon had won and that he was about to invade London. And they started selling all the family property, which caused the craze in London, and all prices collapsed. Everybody was selling everything. They didn't want to have property when Napoleon arrived. And the Rothschild, in secret, bought all that was so cheap and kept the property for them. A few hours later, when the results of the war were disseminated, the Rothschild family had become the wealthiest family in modern times. Now, what has Mr. Rothschild to do with Drongo and the meerkat? I think this all has to do with information and how we use that information. Whoever has the right information in the right time, for the Drongo to have the right information at the right time means to survive a predator or to have breakfast. For the meerkat, it means to survive a predator and at the same time not to be deprived of his breakfast. And for Rothschild, it meant becoming the richest man at the time. Now imagine the value of getting to know the right information at the right time for someone who works at a stock exchange. We took all this into account. And in addition, we associated the user's experience that is more thorough and intuitive, and that is why we created a set of products that go from the web to the smart devices. This was generated with Evolution 3 using all the features of the new GeneXus version to obtain a broker online product with a capacity that was never heard of in the market. So now Matthias will show you live how it works. At present, the stock exchange in New York opened. It's not only one, and it's not even in New York, so Nicolas will explain this to you. And what we can see when we enter the platform, it's not very clear because we don't have HBI capability, but we see the web notifications, being used at a maximum degree. Everything moves. The prices are moving. Do you notice that? It moves here. This is the watch list, and the indices also move. The results of the account also move. And up here you see the day's result, 132 with 57, 132 with 49. It all moves. It uses the web notification technology of Artet. The design of components in the system allows us to collapse and show any component because it's all made up of small components, and we can maximize or leave the platform in whichever way is better for the user. When we click something, it all changes within the same screen. This is a one-page application. This is modern for that reason. The information is distributed along the page. We see how Apple moves, and in green, if there are changes downwards, it's green. If it's upwards, it's red. And we see the context that any user might need. And we also add a graphic system, which is extremely modern. We can see, for example, here, this is linked to the notification system of GeneXus, and we see how Apple is working on this. These are real prices of the New York Stock Exchange. The graphic controls can be expanded to cover the whole screen. You can move them, and you can even do different types of analysis. You can see here, for example, change it to make it clear. Please, Matthias, do some sort of analysis so that I don't understand what this analysis mean, but probably the experts do, and they are very happy to see so many trends and peaks and troughs. And the analysis go up, but we can move them up in the screen. So the platform is very flexible, and you can accommodate data. Even the colors can be changed. Some people in the financial world want black screens, and you can do that. When we change from one action to another, the panel is also collapsible, and Matthias will now show you that regardless the button you click, everything moves in the central panel. We are building the web components on real time. If we were to add a new order or request, it's like when you create a new email in Gmail. You have a small window, it's a web component, and you have complex features like if I, for example, want to include different modifiers in the orders or requests, or I want to buy at one price or sell at another. For example, I want to sell my whole portfolio, and just clicking a button, I sell my whole portfolio, and I have all the purchase requests and do something right away. As all good modern sites, it includes something else to benefit the user. Matthias, can you show the wall? The wall has the functionalities of a modern wall. You can upload a text or a post or an image, and you have two icons here. When the stock exchange is bare or when it is bull, you somehow use the icons to say that the post of that person, we agree with it or we don't agree with it. Can you add something, Matthias, here? Whatever. Nobody can read it anyway. So he added a post with a text and image. Everything changes instantly, and you can see it in just one single screen, responding to the user's expectations, to have the same kind of services that they would get from larger companies. In addition, We have all the operations lists, complex controls like adding alarms. They come as notifications to the screen, and the customer finds out about what he needs to know. Apart from this that we developed on the web, you cannot stay 9 hours looking at the same screen. So we did a whole set of mobile applications for iOS or Android, tablet and telephone. If we could turn on the camera. Matthias will show you how it works on a telephone. He will show you how the same information can appear on the screen of your device. Whether you have Android, iPhone, tablets, you can take a look at your portfolio, your watch list. We could even have the same graphic control, which is touch sensitive, and the same information that we have on the web would be available on my phone. We can do analysis. So basically, the same thing can be done, is available in a small device. Now, what happens when we cannot use a telephone? When we cannot use a telephone, well, there are times when you cannot, like this gentleman. He cannot use a telephone at this precise moment. And this gentleman cannot use a telephone. Well, maybe from between hole and hole, but imagine the telephone is in his pocket and it is vibrating, and he doesn't know whether he's getting a notification from the stock exchange, or someone is his follower in Twitter, or it's the wife. When are you coming home for lunch, or go out, fetch the kids? So all these situations when using a telephone is difficult, technology is here to save us. And we find in smart watches, in smart cars, smart clothes, and smart glasses. Like the ones I have, my Google glasses, because in our research team we like technological innovation above everything else. We decided to have the first application in the world that reacts to the voice on Google Glasses, and you can buy and sell at the stock exchange in New York. Let me show you how this works. My eyes should be here, right, for you to see it. So let me show you. This is connected to Bluetooth with a tablet. I don't know if this can be shown on the screen. It's Bluetooth. It should stand here, and you see the same thing I see in my eye, through my eyes. Google Glass requires English, so I have to speak to it in English. Just to see if it works, I'm going to say, okay, Glass, take a picture, toma una foto. And that's you. Can you see it? You're not, that you don't look that good. Okay. Well, you need to tap it every now and then because the Bluetooth falls asleep if it's open for too long a time. I'm just waking him up. I see things have changed in my glasses, but not on the tablet. So I said, okay, Glass, stop. My stocks. I want to look at my stocks at the stock exchange. And if I went in, I would be looking at the same portfolio I saw on the web, and on the screen of my device. I have Santander. I don't know what MT means, but, well, Facebook. And maybe the white thing would be the graph, showing things with more definition. So I could take any of these and say, I want to buy something. So I want to buy. Okay. I did not understand. I have to speak English, that's why. I have to say in English the amount. I said 10, but it understood 10 is my pronunciation. 24. It understood 24. And it tells me that I'm going to buy Bank of America 24. And now pay attention, because there's a number with a 2 that says the number of orders. So at the time I do click here, the whole system knows that there's a new request. So I send my request to the server. And nothing changed. I don't see it from here. If you open, my purchase is there. I bought 22 BAC. So this is a system that is very much integrated regardless of the device I'm using, but I will see always the same information that is synchronized. Do you think this is flexible enough? Let me go back to the presentations, the PPTs. We saw that one. Now, who uses this application in the world? It is used by a growing number of people who want to manage their own portfolios. They are a new generation. They don't want a middleman. They have enough information and consider themselves qualified to do their own negotiations and trade in the stock exchange. Now, you may wonder, are they our customers? No, they are not. Our customers are the banks, the stock exchanges, the brokers, who still provide these services to their users, or they don't yet. But with this new platform, they could be doing so. So what we have to offer them is a solution that adapts to the colors of your bank or the stock exchange. You can add your own logo there. You can install it in your own servers and systems. But these are not the only customers likely to join us. We see more and more smaller customers called the family offices. They manage the funds of very few people. For these family offices that lack a structure, we have a SaaS solution. The customer goes to an URL of the family offices in our server, and he sees the platform with the colors and the design of the family office, where we provide all the necessary apps. So see how important it is for a very small company with very few customers to quickly scale up to hundreds of customers providing this kind of service. Now, where are our customers? They are in Peru, in Chile, Ecuador, Paraguay, in those places where you come from, people you know or might know. So our expectation, once this event is over, is that you become our representatives, our business partners in your respective countries. I do recommend, nobody knows this information with your exception, so do like Mr. Rothschild and take advantage of this information to conduct good businesses. Young people who develop software are welcome to our team. We are always in the search of new talent. You should know how to work in a team. and you should be able to dream, and it's not easy to dream. These are some presentations connected to this presentation. Mauricio Morinelli will talk about Brokerware. He is part of our team. He used GeneXus Evolution 3 for this new breakthrough, and Ignacio Tisnes at 11:45 in the module of K2B tools will talk about some adaptations that are great. They are a little bit different than K2B's tools. Let me thank Fernando Paniza for his help in designing the interfaces. But I forgot to tell you that how can you do an application with Google Glass? I can tell you that this application was built 90% with GeneXus. Behind this, there is a KB, because Google Glass becomes an Android device, and what we generate is the same for a tablet or telephone or this kind of small device. What we need is to adjust the type of dialogue, which is a little bit different when you use glasses. In this 10%, we got the support of Fernando, who knows about the issue. But any of you could do a Google Glass application by simply using a KB and devoting some time to learn how to use these kits for glasses to do the last part of the modifications. Finally, for those of you who come from abroad, I would like to join you to download the Breaking Party application and learn something about nightlife in Montevideo. Thank you.